In this video, we're going to have a look at a quick process to multiply two-digit numbers. The first thing we do is we set up three boxes, where the boxes represent different place values. The box on the far right represents the units value, the box in the middle is the tens, and the box on the far left represents 100s. The first step in the process of multiplication is to look at the values in the units column, in other words, the 7 and the 8 of both numbers. What we do is we form the product of these numbers, which means to multiply, and we get 7 multiplied by 8 is 56. And that whole result goes into our far right column. The next thing we do is we look at the values in the tens of both of the two-digit numbers. So that's the 3 and the 2 that we can see here in green. We multiply those two numbers together, which is 6, and because we're multiplying values both which have a place value of 10, the end result goes into a place value representing the 100s, so the 6 goes in the far left column. The next thing we do is we multiply a mixture of the units. So we multiply the tens value of 37, which is the 3, by the units value of 28, which is the 8. 3 8s are 24. And we multiply the 7 and the 2 together of the two numbers to get 14. And what we do is we add those two numbers together, and that achieves a total of 38, which goes into the middle box. Now we tidy up our solution, and what we do is we work from the far right, the units box, all the way through to the left-hand side where the hundreds box is. Now we know that we can't have 56 in the units box, it's got to be one digit. So what we do is we place the 6 and we carry the 5 into the tens column. And that means effectively that the middle box now becomes 38 plus 5, which is 43. Now again, we can't have two digits in the tens box, so we leave the 3 there and we carry the 4 into the next column. And that means that we get 6 plus 4, which equals 10, goes into the 100s box. And now we're ready to give our final solution. And that final solution is 1036. Let's have a look at another example. This one's 59 multiplied by 32. So the first thing we do is we look at the value in the units place for both numbers. And 9 multiplied by 2, we can see here in red, is 18, and we put that in the far right box. The next multiplication is the tens in both of the numbers. That's 5 multiplied by 3. And we can see those digits in green. And 5 multiplied by 3 gives us 15, and that goes in the far left-hand box. Now the next step is where we need to be a little bit more patient because we've got two multiplications going on. We're going to multiply 5 by 2, and we can see that there in yellow, and that gives us a result of 10. And we're also going to multiply 9 by 3, and that gives us 27. And 10 added to 27 gives us 37, and that goes into the middle box. It's suggested that you do those multiplications to the side to make sure you get that addition correct. Now what we're going to do is work from the far right hand box and go towards the left, making sure we carry over to each box if required. So the units box on the far right becomes 8, and we carry 1 over to the next box on the left. 37 plus 1 is 38. So we place an 8 in the middle box and carry over 3 to the left hand box, and we have 15 plus 3, which is 18. And this is enough for us to give the final solution, and that is 1888. So now let's look at one more example. The two numbers we're multiplying here are 82 and 19. So the first thing we do is we look at the digits in the units place for both numbers, and that's 2 and 9. We can see here in red that 2 multiplied by 9 gives us 18, and that goes in the far right hand box. The next thing we do is we look at the digits in the tens place for both numbers, and we can see here in green we've got 8 and 1, and the product of 8 and 1 is 8, and that goes in the far left hand box. The next one requires us to be a little bit more careful because we've got a couple of multiplications to do, and we can see in yellow that we've got 8 multiplied by 9, which is 72. Then in brown we've got 2 multiplied by 1, which is 2, and the sum of 2 and 72 gives us 74, which goes into the middle box. Now what we do is we perform any carryover if necessary by working from the far right box towards the left. Now what we are left with in the units box is an 8, and we carry the 1 over to the tens column, and we have 74 plus 1, which is 75. We then leave a 5 in the tens column and carry the 7 over to the 100s box, and 8 plus 7 is 15. So that now allows us to give the final solution, which is 1558.